What's going on, boys? Thanks to our patrons and Fiverr customers, subscribe to our Patreon free for behind-the-scenes stuff. Arm yourselves, typology stuff. I keep having to deal with INFJs. I wouldn't hate INFJs so much if they didn't choose to put themselves around me constantly. Or if they did choose to put themselves around me constantly, but didn't all act the exact same way. Every time. I feel like I'm trapped in Groundhog Day hell. Every time I deal with one of you pieces of shit, we reach a new and different, but ultimately dead-end ass dead end of this maze. And as we get deeper each time, the picture gets worse and worse. It's like having, I forget the detective's name, but the usual suspects Kaiser Soze moment at least once every 3 or 4 months. This is ridiculous. Because I keep extensive files on INFJs. Because they are all essentially the same person. Because no INFJ is an individual. INFJs, what they are at their core, is one way of doing things. And as you get more experience with INFJ individuals, you start realizing those little one-off details you thought might have been specific just to this individual weren't. Because this mode of being produces the same outcomes. Always. It's just a matter of how well or how poorly this individual hides them. Infidelity was my most recent INFJ holy shit it's all connected moment. In the men and the women. Now I'm saving up my hater points, collecting those coins, so we can eventually make a really, really good video about INFJ infidelity. But I want to make you aware now this is something they do. But this video isn't about INFJ sex, this is a video about INFJ sex. Because the thing about the method always being the same is the details change to match the individual's circumstance, and their sex is a pretty big detail, but they're still doing the same thing. And we're talking specifically today about the way male and female INFJs use their personas. Because what you need to remember is in both of them, in all of them, there is nothing there. They are one and all a parasitic void, a biological altar of entropy. It's real villainous shit is what they are, but they go about it in different ways. But remember, in all of them, there is nothing there. And their goal is to get you to believe there is something there, and it's a good something. It's like they all need to be viscerally desired by a lot of people, but there's nothing there to be desired, so they do tricks. And INFJ dudes are interesting in this. Because in terms of brainwashing you, or getting you to brainwash yourself, yeah, it's a mixture of brainwashing you and getting you to brainwash yourself. INFJ dudes will be forward about it. They are like a laser beam in smoke, or they're like a hologram. The appearance of form, the appearance of solidity, but there's nothing there. What an INFJ dude wants you to do is buy a persona they think is cool or socially advantageous. They want you to buy into this character sheet, essentially, they've drawn up, and they are trying to act in accordance with. At least when they are dealing with you or dealing with different specific groups of people. And it's like they want you to think, wow, that's the person to be. And it's funny because all INFJs are physically, superficially insecure, which is why they tend to take care in their physical presentation. But it's funny because INFJ dudes, whatever they're trying to look like, you can smell their type on their fashion sense. And I look back at videos I've made in the past. Using physicality, or especially fashion sense, in most types is really stupid. I did that with INFPs, I think 5 or 6 years ago now. I still regret that. This is not one of those times. I don't know how to describe this. INFJ dudes will have this cleanness to them, even if they are trying to be dirty. They like flat or muted colors or the larger patterns. A lot of them like those weird minty pastel colors when they're dressing casually, but usually it'll be a solid block or two of color, maybe some stripes at most, and then tasteful accessories. And the accessories operate to sell you visually on the character they are playing. And there's this weird, relaxing sterility to it, which is funny because high TE types or high FI types, particularly ENFPs, which there's probably some overlap there, that's probably not a mistake, they'll wear iconography and shit all over themselves, but they're doing it very pointedly. I care about this. Whereas an INFJ's iconography or accessories, they are there to sell you on the idea or on the image. I am this person, and this is the sort of person you should care about. INFJ women do something similar, but because women's fashion is as varied as it is, and women can get away with dressing in so many different ways, it's a lot harder to spot. With INFJ dudes, it's easier to spot because they have a look. Anyway, with INFJ dudes and the way they express or pursue persona according to their sex is they will put this persona they think is cool or they want people to buy in front of you. And then they will do standard INFJ shit to get you to buy into it. Get you to like them in 100 different ways that are tailored to you specifically. So you will then give approval to this hologram they want you to approve of or to enjoy. At least until they're bored of you. Or at least until you become threatening to their hologram in some way. Maybe after they've overstepped some boundaries and pissed you off. Or after they have fucked you over in some way. Either small fuckings over a small period of time, or one large fucking over all at once. Which is something both sexes do, but we'll get to that. The point is, you are like a vial of dopamine they can coax open and then ingest so they can feel good about themselves for a while. And then, once it's dried up for whatever reason, it's on to the next one. And INFJs are insatiable with this. They're like voids. They're like black holes, gravity wells. Because, see, it's not a hunger. It's not like you can feed them enough, or you can feed them the right things, and then they will act like human beings because they aren't human beings. For them, this is a natural state of being. They are like a feature of a landscape. They can't be anything but that. They are defined by their parasitism. And we made that I think it was specifically about an INFJ video. I think I referenced it. This is before we did the ASPD thing. That INFJs and high-level sociopaths have a lot in common. I think that was foreshadowing. I think that's exactly what's going on. I don't think all INFJs are sociopaths or all sociopaths are INFJs, but there is a huge overlap. And even in the ones that aren't both, they still act similarly. They still think similarly. You can throw the entirety of planet Earth into a black hole, and it'll still be there sucking things in. They are walking wounds in the collective unconscious. Anything that would lead to a better world, anything that would lead to a better individual, anything that would lead to lasting, sustainable happiness in anyone, in any group, anywhere, they are opposed to. And they are very good at selling you on the idea that is the opposite of what they are. But it's funny because anytime you start to believe them, and you will, I know exactly what they are. And I still fall for it. Because it's so... What they are is so alien and so evil, my brain doesn't want to accept it. I am always looking for that one exception. And I haven't found one. See, it's natural for humans to hope. That's how they get you. And ultimately, if you deal with them too long, that is exactly what they poison. On the most basic level possible, humans hope things will get better. That they will get what they want. Or at least that things could get better and they could get what they want. That a better tomorrow exists, that a better something exists. Maybe a better you exists. But it doesn't matter specifically. All that matters is that you hope. Because if you hope, they have an in. Something I've learned doing nonprofit work, it's shocking to me there aren't more INFJs in nonprofits. People want to be sold on themselves. You'll hear things like people want to be sold something or they want to be manipulated or controlled. That's a lie. If you're talking things outside them, but everybody wants to be sold themselves. They want to be sold something they already believe or something they want to believe, packaged in a new and exciting way. That's how you raise funds. And that's also why I tell you to go fuck yourselves. If you're going to give me money, I want you to feel as stupid as possible, as hated as possible, as dumb as possible for giving me money. So there is no chance you could be manipulated. This is manipulative, but it's not really because I do think you're fucking stupid for giving someone like me money. I know my word is important to me for totally self-serving reasons. I haven't worked this out. This is a long-term thought cabinet exercise. I know keeping my word is important to me on a strictly reptilian self-serving level. And I have some superficial ideas for why that is, but it feels like there's something deeper and much more self-serving there that I haven't worked out yet, aside from getting people to believe you. I don't know what it is, but we're working on it. But my point is, your capacity to hope, your capacity to desire something, that's their in. Because they can smell what it is you hope for. And this is on a base primal level. This is animal shit. They can't teach this. They key into whatever it is you specifically hope for and then direct that beam toward them. And they do that mostly through their persona. A person who is what you want to be, or what you think people should be, or what most people think should be. A person who has what you want, or a person who can give you what you want. A person who can help you become the person you want to be. It's like you're at sea. You've been at sea for months and months, and all you need is a wind, and no wind is coming. And then finally, because remember, they like preying on people in need, wind shows up. And then you're riding the wave, you're sailing. And then It's hard to pinpoint exactly when this happens, but eventually you'll realize now the wind is riding you. And it's at that point you are fucked. In some degree. Some amount of damage has already been done, and an undetermined amount of damage will be done extricating yourself from this shit. I think that's why, well, there are two great endeavors in life. One is to give up all hope. The other is to become so numb when hope blows up in your face, it doesn't hurt as bad as it could. Neither is great, but if you don't... You can't go running through tall grass and expect not to pick up ticks. If you don't want to feel the suffering of shitty ticks, you either don't go running through the tall grass, which sucks because running through the tall grass is real fun. It's what we evolved to do. Or you get comfortable with the knowledge you will for certain get ticks, except these ticks, it's more like getting shot. You're gonna get shot. In, in a perfect world, you wouldn't get shot, but this is not a perfect world. And it's not like INFJs are the only evil people alive. Far from that. But, Jesus, they are really good at it. They are really good at inflicting maximal suffering on people. And this is where we get into INFJ women. They don't do the laser beam or hologram shit. They do this hallucinogenic fog thing. And see, INFJ women don't usually want to sell you on something specific. They might start from a persona position that looks specific, but that's when they are socially leeching, or tribally leeching, cliquishly leeching. They will become the product a specific group wants badly. That's their multi-leeching. And they arrived at this position or this persona the same way they arrived, or using the same method they use to arrive at what will leech an individual optimally. Because it seems like INFJ women are even more afraid of... I don't want to say rejection, because that's not exactly it. It's being off target. That scares them more than anything. Because you can be rejected and still be on target. That might be even better in some cases, depending on what energy vampire scheme they are pulling. But you see, INFJ women are very lazy. Or maybe it's not that they're lazy. Maybe they... Well, no, not even maybe. Probably. Definitely. They are more arrogant. And their sex makes them better at this. An INFJ man is a door-to-door salesman who knows his clientele. An INFJ woman is an advertiser. An INFJ man gets pleasure out of selling, being very good at selling. INFJ women get pleasure out of getting you to buy. It's the same thing, but it's completely different. An INFJ woman will target you. Probably because you're within the sphere of influence, whatever sphere of influence she is multi-leeching from. That way she goes in with a broad idea of the audience segment she is targeting. Then she'll put out feelers to get a better read on your particular interests. And there are a few ways they can do this. The more forward ones will just start saying shit. And they're doing this to see which bait you take. You're a dumb fish being primed to get hooked. On the flip side, a fish will go around where people are fishing and be noticed, so bait will be thrown out. And using the bait that gets thrown out, they can zero in on you that way. They're very clever. And the idea is if you're the fish, to get you on land so you'll suffocate, or if you're the fisherman, to get you pulled into the water so you'll drown. And what they want you to do is to get so into them, or to this idea of them that you have constructed for them. Either you'll do something stupid, or you'll be so enthralled long enough you will neglect yourself, forget yourself. Because always you need to remember, there is nothing to catch. There's no fish to catch. There is no worm to eat. Or for the dudes over on the women's side, there is no good man. There is no cool dude who wants to give you what you want to be given. There was a Godfather game. I think it originally came out on PS2, but I played the Wii version back in the day. When you are extorting shopkeepers to accept your protection racket, if you don't beat them at all, then they will reject you outright. If you beat the shit out of them way too much, they will freak out and call the cops, or get violent themselves. What you need to do to get them to give you what you want is to get them in this perfect zone of fear. That's what INFJs do with allure. Except with them, it's not like there's a payoff. There's not a win condition. For them, or for you, or for anybody. Their goal is to get you and others to a specific level of entrancement and then keep you there until the activity burns out. And once they're done with you, or once they're done with anybody else, they aren't satisfied. So they have to do it again. They have to do it to other people. And you and these other people are fried. So INFJ men sell you on a very clear hologram. INFJ women get you to buy into tiers of targeted advertising. INFJ men will sell you a bridge. INFJ women will get you to invest in a bridge. Same thing, different methods, all fabrications, all lies, designed to hurt you for their benefit, as most of society goes on believing they are broadly good people. And for some reason, they themselves believe they are broadly good people. Even as, once you get to know them, they start listing out the fucked up things they do. There's no contradiction to them. It's like, well, they don't exist, is the thing. There can't be a contradiction if there's nothing there, if any of it mattered to them. And that's a curious thing, because I've been labbing how best to hurt INFJs. And it's tricky because so far it has felt like there is no way to hurt them unless you're willing to go to extreme lengths, which it's not worth it. You can, and this is one of the few, it doesn't help with the INFJ question in general, but with specific INFJs, you can rest easy knowing they will do this to the wrong person or people at some point. A crazy person will teach them eventually. You don't have to do anything. This is like a bullet flying through the air. Triggers already pulled by them on themselves a long time ago. That doesn't save you from the 75 other INFJs who will show up ready to fuck you over the moment this one is done with you. But they're all doomed. A crazy person whom they knew were crazy when they fucked with them will be the one who does it. Whatever it is. And I say extreme, some of the stuff is less extreme, but it's the sort of drama shit that you don't want to get bogged down in. For purely practical reasons. Unless you have a falling down moment. Except in your instance, it wouldn't be complaining about breakfast and lunch and prices and shit. You'll be talking about typology. You'll be an actual crazy person, not a saint and a prophet. Anyway, retaliating against INFJs on a smaller scale, a less involved scale. It's strange because two things seem to be true at the same time. On the one hand, nothing lower level like words hurts them because there's nothing there. It's impossible to feel hurt when this person doesn't exist. It's hard to hit a pressure point when you're trying to hit smoke's pressure point. It's formless. There isn't one. Except there is. That's the tricky thing. I'm getting used to dealing with tics as I deal with them more. Unfortunately, it's impossible for me not to hope. It's impossible for me not to care. And I hate that. I really wish I could cut those parts out of me. Instead, we're doing this long-term chemical exposure castration on those parts of myself. We're getting better. I don't think I've wrote or transcribed these notes yet. I'm slowly becoming a take a penny person. I used to be a leave a penny person. Always. Then I became a penny neutral person. Now I'm becoming a take a penny sometimes person. I need to be a take a penny always for principled reasons person. We're getting there. Thanks in part to INFJs. Thanks to a lineage of ENTJ women for showing you how to do war and cruelty. Thank you to a long line of INFJs for giving you reason to use these teachings without the restrictions and limitations and shortcomings common to all ENTJ women. But you learn these things so you can use them unrestricted for the people who have the restrictions. But ceasing to be such a pussy and man up and do it is taking a while. You can optimize your badness pretty easily, but it is difficult to make evil a habit. And not for moral reasons, for totally practical reasons. Stepping over that boundary with both feet and staying on the other side is really difficult and scary. It's like people who say suicide is taking the easy way out. No, not at all. If you're serious about it anyway. No, that's the hardest thing you can do. I think evil is very much the same way. If you're not born naturally able to do it, like you had a bad childhood, you have ASPD, or you had nothing in there to begin with, or you're an INFJ. If you're a normal person, committing to antisocial self-preservation is a very difficult thing to do. Because it's like The Big Short. They shorted the American economy. You're shorting socialization. That is a scary thing to do. Even if you win, you've lost. If you're in a position to win by doing that, you've lost. And we've lost. Anyway, I've had no sleep, and Jesus Christ, when it rains, it pours. Holy shit. It was like everything in my life was really quiet. It's the the begging for rain thing. Please God, send me rain. And then you get a flood. I was bitching about my life feeling quiet and purposeless for so long. And then holy shit. Every aspect of my life blew up yesterday, or at least the way life had been going yesterday. Channel shit blew up, work shit blew up, family shit didn't blow up, but it wanted to. And I thought it was just going to be a hell day. And then it was hell today, too. And it's going to be hell tomorrow. And I'm very overwhelmed. I haven't slept. It was so funny. My eye bags got so deep, they went albino. Have you ever had that when you're so exhausted? Your eye bags go two-tone. The top part was pale. It was orca whale shit. Anyway, I am freaked out right now, but I'm in my element. Tangents, hurting INFJs, straight into another tangent. Fuck you, this is a long typology video. I'll probably get a bunch of mid-roll ad slots in this video. I was thinking about this. Over the last, I'd say, 6 months, maybe a little more than that, like a month and a half a pop, the 4 horsemen of INFJ bitches. And there's always a stream of them showing up sometimes and causing problems to this level or that. This was like 4... In my head, I was conceptualizing them as the 4 horsemen. I don't know what purpose they serve, but it lines up, but it's like an inverted 4 horsemen. First came death, the strongest. Rapture and terror and confusion. I think the death of something I was at that time that needed to die. I don't know what it was, but it was something. Then came famine. Literally bone skinny, subsisting off scraps, intellectually famished, spiritually famished, sexually famished, hopefully fucking famished, starved to death. I hope you do. Rotten bitch. Then pestilence, which maybe some actual disease was going on there. I don't know. That seems to happen in those sorts of environments. But more of a rotten food, demonic gluttony thing. Pestilence. Debauchery in Thoth Tarot. And then war. Cruelty in Thoth Tarot. Which I have no idea why the cards didn't even try to alert me to this. This is all learning exercises and shit. They make you do things so you'll learn them. The cruelty was uncovered at the end. But they're all cruel. They're all pestilential. They're all famished. They are all walking embodiments of death. The war, weapon industry shit. This is like Tails gets trolled, except you're Tails and I'm Tails, and we keep getting trolled. And then Shadow the Hedgehog, he comes and he tells you, you have to kill them. Not literally. Never literally. But you have to beat on them. Even though it seems like it's doing nothing because there's nothing there. This started as a tangent, but it was actually the point all along. You think you aren't hitting them, but what you realize when you are beating them as if one vessel represents all of them, which sounds ridiculous, but then you realize as you're doing it, it's not ridiculous. That is exactly what's happening. One is all and all is one. Because what happens is while you are beating them for your sake, not wanting, not or knowing you aren't hurting them, this is for you to express yourself. You'll realize a glancing blow hurt them. And you won't realize it at first, because this is another thing. They aren't human. They don't think the way you do. They don't feel the way you do. What you think is a knockout punch is like a really good uppercut in shadow boxing. It's meaningless. But what you think is a soft slap, or maybe not even a slap, not even intentional, you move too quickly, and you notice your shadow boxing, your shadow stumbles and then catches an attitude. And that could be another thing. It could be another play by them, but I don't think it is, because most of the time they don't want anything from you other than your entrancement. And this is more of a woman thing, but I've seen it a few times in INFJ women. They always want you to apologize for shit. They do all these demonic, horrible things, these evil things, truly evil things, cardinal sins, evil things, repeatedly, on the regular. They're demons. But then they want you to apologize for something that doesn't matter. You could go through an entire beating session, and you would think, if this were a normal person and there were anything to apologize for, it would be that really good uppercut, or that solid left hook. And no, that's not what bothers them. It's something that doesn't matter, and even if it did, you compare that against all the evil things they do, it's nothing. And they didn't act like it was anything at the time. That's the thing that hurt them. That's the thing they want you to apologize to them for. So I think you can hurt INFJs without doing anything extreme. But what you need to do is saturation bombardment them. You throw everything you can say at them, and you do it for your benefit to get your hatred of all of them out on this singular appendage of the whole in front of you. And one of those things will bother them. You might not see it, but something in there will. And it's so hateable that it's not the thing you want it to be, but fuck them. If you can make them miserable in any way, you are doing humanity a service. Oh, and this is another thing for the Manchurian candidates we are cultivating at the moment. I know a lot of you shitheads are watching this, and you're thinking I'm insane, or you're thinking I'm ridiculous, you're doing who hurt you shit. The ones of you who aren't INFJs, or maybe you have INFJ friends, quotes, whatever those are, whatever you think those are, it's a matter of time. The same way INFJs are all doomed by time. If you are in regular contact with one, you, as you are now, too are doomed. And when that version of you dies, you'll think of me. And then you will have your first Kaiser Soze moment. All of it will click. All the INFJ shit I've been talking and you've been listening to and disagreeing with. Which is dumb, by the way. If you hate watching something, why are you watching it? I've never understood that. Well, no, I do. in the INFJ's cases, it's because they like misery, and they like causing it, they like spreading it. They're just they're misery vectors. But you, I'm going to save you, what you're listening to right now, will save you from becoming Harry Dresden guy. With INFJs, people are like bullets in a cylinder. All right, you don't want to be in the cylinder. You don't want to be in their cylinder. And you do that by, if you don't already know, by prepping yourself with an awareness of what they are. So, when you do finally get majorly fucked over, some people like me are born with the strength and the willpower and the grace to get tricked and fucked over and move on and not make a big lifetime probably deal out of it and turn it into an actual weird psychological guerrilla warfare thing going on. Not all of us are like me. You will benefit from some prepping so you don't get mind broken. Oh, and another thing while we're here, while we're talking about anti-INFJ R&D, something I've noticed is the best way to hurt an INFJ big time while staying small scale, that's something you can do, but only if you don't know anything about INFJs. Even if you've never had any experience with that sort of person. You don't even know anything about typology. That's when you're able to hurt them best. And I think that's because that's when they are most arrogant. Right? Through you, well, with someone like me, or other people who have learned what INFJs are, an INFJ will still come into your sphere and fuck with you because they're able to. It's like a power play arrogance thing with them. Somehow they are protected, their throats are protected. Or they know to protect their throats, rather. Even if they don't know, they know. Whereas, with these people who don't know about INFJs, INFJs love people like this. Because these people are at their most vulnerable. And that allows them to get cocky. They aren't protecting their throats. But God, sometimes, reaches through people like these and punches INFJs in their shitty, ugly little throats. And it hurts bad when that happens. The INFJs got God. And they got by the grace of God. I said earlier, nothing bothers an INFJ more than being off target. Nothing bothers an INFJ more than being off target and paying for it brutally. This was a longer video, but I'm feeling pretty good about this one. Title sucks, but I don't think that matters. The people who need this video will find it. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't.